it's the most spectacular landscape, the Windsill and Wolftown and Caulfields. Just after we moved here, we were walking with some friends up to Wolftown, and we paused on top of the crags, and I was amazed because we could look down and we could see this tiny white speck that was our house. And I felt, I couldn't do it now. It's one of those things where you think, wow, but it does have a massive emotional impact to think that you're part of a historic landscape.
A lot of other historical places are almost exclusive in terms of excluding people from access, but it's there, and you can walk up to it, you can touch it.
I'm very, very selfish about it, really. When I'm out in a landscape, I'm enjoying it most if there's nobody there, and if I see somebody on the next 2 wheels along, it's already spoiling my day until they've gone past.
The morning my mum died, I came straight up here, and I just parked the car and I went up on the wall and I just sat there. The sun and the views and the perfect peace and quiet. It was just cathartic, I don't know, it just clears his soul somehow, It was the only place I wanted to be. Let the earth speak. Let it speak. Let the past speak. Let it speak. Of giants in retreat and force veiled as peace. Truth is buried underneath. Let it speak.
One of the ways to look at the monument is this absolute failure of military occupation to pacify a landscape. Because in the end, the Hadrian's Wall had to be garrisoned for the entire length of Roman Britain. For over 300 years, the Roman army poured money into our landscape because they couldn't succeed in completely converting local population into being completely pro-Roman. So Hadrian's Wall is this incredible monument. In so many different ways, you can read it and learn lessons from it.
Gates is always a tricky one. So people just like leaving gates open and people sort of littering, things like that.
Quite recently, we were driving past Bird Oswald, and people were walking on top of the wall, like a long row of them walking along the top of the wall, and I was really shocked.
Some farmers often say they're the custodians of this countryside, and some are, but there are some that are not. And if people in cities dropped litter like some farmers do in the countryside, the cities would probably be 10 foot deep in litter.
Climate change is affecting everything that's above the ground, but also having quite an impact below as well, in terms of water levels, acidity in the soils, all sorts of stuff going on there, which we're only really getting to grips with now. But the long and short of it is that if it's buried underground, it does still continue to change. So things that you might have found 30 or 40 years ago in some sites will be completely gone now, they'll be lost. So the clock is ticking.
entrance wall's immovable, and it's still there, and it's been seen through far worse than I'll ever imagine, but it's still there, and there's still beautiful things happening. And next year there'll be people laughing and meeting on the wall, and a year later, or 20 or 30 years after I'm gone, there'll still be people holding hands looking at the exact same thing as I did, and the exact same thing somebody did 100 years before me, 500 years before me, 1,000 years, 1,500, 2,000 years. So it's got a pretty good solid history for me to be able to say, I've walked the wall, this hasn't moved, things get bad, things get better.